this is Dr. Qamar Cheema, and today, as I told you people, that I've started a new English current affairs channel or regional challenge channel, which will talk about the regional politics and the international politics. And for that matter, I requested Major Gaurav Arya Saab. Major Saab, thank you very much for coming on my new channel.
Thank you, Cheema sir, for inviting me. It's a pleasure, and please accept my congratulations. I think this is a great beginning, and we are all with you. All of us are with you in this new endeavor, Cheema sir.
Thank you very much, Mahisab, for giving us support for this. As I believe that we have been saying much on in our local languages, in Urdu, in Hindi, in Punjabi, and so many other languages. So, a perspective from Pakistan in English language must go abroad because many people are unable to understand what's going on in Pakistan, particularly people in the West, because we don't have English news channels in Pakistan. So people used to come from, we used to have ideas from newspapers. But anyhow, I'm not covering everything, but I will be covering a bit of the things from that. Major Saab, today I want to have a conversation with you for my viewers, for my audience, and that is about few topics. First of all, what I want to talk with you is about the recent statement. Which has come from Pakistan's Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, that we want to engage with India, and according to him, he believes that we should talk with India. We can have differences, but we need to talk. And the same, he said that Pakistan is disengaged globally, and we need to engage with India as well for that matter. But one thing, what we are observing from Pakistan, Major Saab, is that be it the incumbent government of Shahbaz Sharif or this national unity government or the previous government of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, there is a similar pattern in India. And the pattern is not to respond to the offers which come from Pakistan. So, how do you think of that pattern? Do you think that this assessment is fine? Because former Prime Minister Imran Khan used to write tweets, but there was no response. And now there is an offer, perspective from the incumbent foreign minister, but Foreign Minister Jaishankar and the Indian Foreign Office does not respond to that. So, how do you see, Major Saab, that?
Thank you, Cheema sir. Cheema sir, two, three things. First of all, I think, if Pakistan truly wants to engage with India, they must stop trying to engage through Twitter or news conferences. I think the best thing would be, I'm sure Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has the phone number of Dr. Jaishankar, and he can just give him a call and they can talk about it person to person and then announce it. You see, the problem with media-based communication is that everybody hears of it, and then people have their own narratives in place. People say that, India is not cooperating or India is cooperating, and why is India behaving like that? Why is Pakistan behaving like that? The best thing is for maybe in one of the global meetings or maybe in one of the global conferences, they can meet on the sidelines and they say that, okay, you're welcome. We extend an invitation to you to come to Pakistan. Similarly, India says, okay, Bilawal sir, you're welcome to come to India and we will engage with you. And let's first have both of them, the foreign ministers, talking to each other rather than saying, no. You see, the problem also is, Cheema sir, that a lot of times from Pakistan, India does not know how to, take this and how to analyze this. For example, Mr. Imran Khan has said that there will be no conversation with India until 370 and 35A is, taken back. Now, the problem is that he said that while he was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So that has become an official Pakistani policy. Now, 2 months down the line, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari says that, no. What we must do is we must engage with India because Pakistan is becoming globally disengaged. And this is not okay. We must, not just India, we must speak to the entire world, which in itself is not a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. I think Pakistan needs to speak to every country, including the state of Israel. Speak to everybody. Speak to everybody, absolutely. Speak to India, speak to everybody. But this speaking must happen one-on-one. There is a lot of trust deficit between the two countries. You don't trust us, we don't trust you, and it's mutual. The idea is speak to each other, speak out of the glare of media. Because the media in both our countries is very, very judgmental. When you tweet, the Indian government will never respond to a tweet unless it's a friendly tweet. And even in case of Mr. Imran Khan's tweet, where he praised India's foreign policy, there was a certain backlog in which he literally abused the Prime Minister of India. He called him a Nazi, he called him a fascist, he said he's this and that, and Hindutva and radicalized. So he went all out. There are bad memories. And I think if we have to move ahead, I think first both of them need to meet by the sidelines, somewhere in some meeting, maybe in New York or London or wherever there is a big meeting, both of them go, since both of them are foreign ministers of sovereign independent countries, go talk to each other over a cup of coffee or over a cup of something better than coffee, whatever you want to have, and फिर बात करें, then take it forward, and then maybe come up in front of the media and say that, okay, I had a word with Dr. Jaishankar, and I'm going to go to Delhi and I'm going to meet him, or he's going to come to Islamabad and meet me. Maybe that is the way forward.
That's fine. But Mesa, obviously, you are right that there should not be tweets should not be taken as the formal gesture from a country for a talks, and obviously a call or a letter or something is important. That's fine. And as far as this issue of 370-35 is concerned, definitely, which you referred that India's thing, the former prime minister just clubbed it for as a condition for the talks. That many people believe that this is basically a burden which former prime minister put on the already troubled relations between India and Pakistan. But one thing we are noticing in New Delhi is that, and that is that to completely disengage with Pakistan, not to talk with Pakistan. This is a one narrative that is coming. For instance, the foreign Dr. Jay Shankar was, I think, giving an interview to someone, and he said that we have a problem with the United States, and the problem is that they have been supporting Pakistan unnecessarily and for long. And for no reason, maybe. So these were some of the lines which have been quoted by media and that have come. So why was the problem with India that if in Pakistan and US have a bilateral relations even in the past, although the relations were on the more of them more on the security metrics, or it was a transactional relations. We always called that it was a bad marriage. It was just for uh, as the transaction stopped, the relationship stopped working. It was not a strategic partnership. So why India believes that a Pakistan-US relationship was not a relations is not good for India?
Our point of view comes largely from terrorism and what India has suffered across India, but especially in the state of now the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Uh, Chima Sab, this has history, and with your permission, I'd like to elaborate a little bit. Now, this has a little bit of history, and what has essentially happened is, there were many times when India went to the United States and said that, okay, you have a very close working relationship with Pakistan, and you have a very close working relationship with the Pakistan Army, and we have these groups which are operating from inside Pakistan, the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Hizbul Mujahideen, specifically three of them. And can you do something about it? Because this is leading to instability, and we've seen videos of Hafiz Saeed in Pakistan, and those videos are on YouTube, and there is a proper YouTube channel for Jamaatul Dawa. There is a proper YouTube for Falayat Insanian Foundation and all that. There are YouTube channels. They are on social media, and we know that they're in Lahore, they're in Muridke, they're in so many places, Bahawalpur, etc. Because they go live from there. They go live on Facebook. So they're there. Now they've stopped nowadays, but there was a time when they used to do it regularly, and so India said that this is proof that they're there and they're settled down there. Can you help us? And America said, because America wanted to balance between Pakistan and India, and India always had this complaint that you're you're welcome to have your relationships with Pakistan, but as far as terrorism is concerned, this will bite you also, and you'll be very surprised. When 9/11 happened, there were a lot of Indians who felt very, very sad that, they felt very sad that, such a tragedy had happened in America. And a lot of people were in tears in India. But there was also a realization that maybe, now America will understand what this is about. Of course, there was a lot of grief, there was a lot of pain for America. But they said that perhaps America will realize what terrorism is about. But because now it has come on its own soil, it has finally arrived on the mainland of the United States of America. So this essentially has got a lot to do with India's complaints against the US bases terror. Now that whole relationship is unraveling between Pakistan and America. One, because Pakistan has chosen to be in the Chinese camp. Number two, a lot of things have been said by Pakistani politicians against the United States of America, especially Imran Khan. Cheema Sahab, I very strongly feel, I don't know why, because it cannot be a coincidence. And I'm just bouncing it off you. I don't even have proof of what I'm saying. I don't have any proof. I'm just saying it like that as an analyst. Why should Imran Khan go hammer and tongs after America unnecessarily? Why should he poke America unnecessarily? I don't know the logic. Either somebody told him to poke America, all right, or he really believes what he's saying. I don't know. But as a sitting prime minister, as a sitting prime minister of a country, in the opposition, you can say whatever you wish. But he was talking about an American conspiracy when he was the prime minister of Pakistan. And, the Pakistan Foreign Office, unfortunately, thinks that once somebody has spoken after a few days, like they say in Punjabi, na mitti pao, it does not happen in foreign relations. That mitti pao thing does not happen in foreign relations. Once the damage is done, then people will scramble and try to undo the damage and soften the blow, etc. But people have long memories, they remember, and this is very recent. So, yes, India feels that the United States of America has not put the kind of pressure on Pakistan vis-a-vis the Taliban, vis-a-vis so many other, vis-a-vis terrorism in India. It could have, and it has not, because it wants to balance the relationship with Pakistan, which is okay. But that is harming India. That's number one. Number two, it is not just about India trying to isolate Pakistan, diplomatically. It's also geographical isolation. Because Cheema Sahab, what is Pakistan's main asset? Pakistan's main asset is not its atom bombs or its nuclear weaponry. Pakistan's main asset is its geostrategic location. That is the biggest gift God has given Pakistan, its geostrategic location. And I think among the 2-3 countries in the world are as geostrategically important as Pakistan. And India has been requesting Pakistan for a very long time that, please give us the right of way. We'd like to trade with Afghanistan. And there were problems. We are going to check this. Pakistan said, we're going to check this. We'll load it. It will go on Pakistani trucks. They'll unload it, blah, 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 and all that. And India also feared one thing, that even if Pakistan gave it right of way through the Pakistani mainland, whenever a relationship between India and Pakistan went south, Pakistan would simply switch off the tap. After the Salalah checkpoint attack, you did it with the Americans, right? If you remember, Pakistan shut down the American movement immediately. Within 24 hours, Pakistan said nothing doing. Khatam. Now, that is not going to happen between India and Pakistan, but let us say something else happens. Because we are not going to attack each other like that. But if something else happens, and India spends billions of dollars in actually focusing trade in one direction, and tomorrow it switches off. So what India did over a period of time was also created partnerships, created infrastructure, so that we can reach Russia, we can reach Afghanistan if we choose to, we can reach Central Asia if we choose to, without coming to Pakistan, and without even coming to Afghanistan. Circumvent everything and come. So this part of the world is, India, and India is, that north-south corridor, that thing that is, the plyboards and all, I think something has come from Russia. It has reached India. Now India will also be sending something. So ideal situation is, in the immediate now, is around 5 billion US, approximately 5 billion US. That should be the trade. But over a period of time, it's bound to increase. Cheema Sahab, the only thing is that India is also telling the world. That is India's way of telling. This is not just for India. It is telling the world that if you want to go to Central Asia, right, you can go through Iran and we will facilitate. So there is also the mainstreaming of Iran also, which is happening. And all this is happening with Pakistan at the back of the mind. That because if we can't go from Pakistan, then we'll go from here. And if we can't go from Pakistan, we'll ensure that the entire world does not go from Pakistan. Everybody should go through Iran. Even if it takes 20 years to do it, we will do it after 20 years. And India has actually invested a lot of money in that. Because everything takes money. India is investing billions upon billions of dollars, foreign exchange, into this project, where we are saying that, okay, the United States of America, you want to go to Afghanistan, you want to go to Central Asia, we'll give you trains, we'll give you a port, we'll give you everything, roads, fantastic roads. You don't have to worry, you'll reach there. You want to go to Afghanistan? No problem. Give us a call, we'll facilitate everything. Because, Cheema Sahab, America, and this is my analysis, America may have shifted its priorities to Indo-Pacific. America may have moved out of Afghanistan in a hurry, but my analysis is one day America will come back to Afghanistan. My analysis is one day America will come back to Afghanistan. This is history. One superpower always comes to Afghanistan, whether it's Russia, whether it's America. During Alexander the Great, the Greeks came, everybody's been coming to Afghanistan. And the next time a superpower comes to Afghanistan, if Russia comes, Russia will use this, and Russia has its own ways and means to get into it. Russia does not require to come through Pakistan. If America goes, America will go through here. If China goes, then again it's bad for China can go through the Wakhan corridor. China can go through Pakistan. It has so many ways to go to Afghanistan. But the only problem is China never puts its troops in harm's way in a foreign country. There is no Chinese troop deployment outside its own borders. Chinese don't do that as a matter of policy. And what the Chinese are going to do is the Chinese are going to put pressure on the Pakistan army to guarantee their security inside Afghanistan if the Chinese come. Because they know that the Taliban cannot do it. The Taliban cannot do it. Afghanistan is not, the head of the Taliban is the mayor of Kabul, Cheema Saab. He is not the president of Afghanistan. They are going to get the Pakistani army to guarantee their safety inside. But let's see how it functions. How
this is obviously this is something what the India and United States obviously have a dialogue and all that. But Major Saab, since you have mentioned about terrorism, and I think the same kind of criticism or the assessment, observation, proofs have come from the Pakistani side, and they have been given to the United States and to the international community and the UN General Assembly and to the UN Secretary General of the UN General Assembly about when Pakistan was fighting America's war against terrorism, according to Imran Khan, because he said that this is America's war against terrorism, this is not Pakistan's war against. Although we believe this is Pakistan's war against terrorism, the Indians were involved in supporting the non-state actors and creating a problem and trouble for Pakistan, be it in Balochistan or Karachi or in Fatah, or financing non-state actors in Afghanistan to destabilize Pakistan. So that is also a narrative which Pakistan has shared with the Americans and the international community, and to the P5 particularly as well. Since I'm privy to so many of time about, and I have spoken to few of the people who are aware of those proofs which were given, and they said that obviously there is a substance in it. But maybe it's India's global clout, India's relation with the P5. Maybe the countries have not spoken much. So do you think that yes, Hafiz Saeed was involved in Afghanistan, in Kashmir for the jihad, and for that matter, there were a UN Security Council resolution on him. For that matter, Pakistan is being removed from the FATF graded because he has been punished finally. So when Indians blame the Americans, you say there is a proof. The Pakistan is also asking for that the Indians are involved in financing terrorism in Pakistan. So, don't you think that this is a sort of a blame game which will continue, or do you think that your story is more plausible, attractive, recognized because Taliban, because Afghan government was supporting it, even the Americans were realizing it, but the Pakistani government has been continuously, and the foreign office has continuously been saying that India is sponsoring terrorism in Pakistan, and even in Balochistan, even the Kulbhushan Yadav episode is there. So how does what weightage and what value India's point have in Washington, London, Paris, when such kind of perspective comes from Islamabad?
Okay, Cheema sir, first of all, I'm not aware of what India is doing in Balochistan. Maybe I read Pakistani media and I hear. So I'm not aware if India is doing anything or not doing anything. I'm not aware of that. I have 2-3 quick points to make. The world recognizes one thing. If something is happening in Kashmir, and Hafiz Saeed is a Pakistani national, which means that it is emanating from Pakistan. And even if India is, for example, and I'm not saying India is, but since you are saying it, let me repeat your words. Let us say India is doing something in Balochistan, for example. Even that is being done by Pakistani nationals. In Pakistan, Pakistanis are killing Pakistanis. And this is, in India, Pakistanis are killing Indians in the Kashmir Valley. And of course, there are local Kashmiris also who are part of it. So this is not to say that local Kashmiris are not involved. Of course, local Kashmiris are also involved. Pakistanis also. So this is one story, Cheema sir. The second story which we need to consider is that over a period of time, India not only has sent proof to the International Court of Justice, India has sent a lot of recordings, GPS coordinates to Pakistan, and Pakistan also filed FIRs against certain people in Pakistan. I think there are 2 or 3 FIRs filed in the 2611 case in Pakistani thanas, and the matters are sub judice in Pakistani courts. Our thing is that if relationship between Pakistan and India, right, has to improve, like you said, Bilawal Bhutto, that was your first question. Cheema sir, see, I'll tell you what. First of all, now let me try and put it very delicately, because these are very important things, and one cannot just say it like that. There has to be a mutual agreement for peace. I'm trying to say something which I hope there has to be the road to peace in Balochistan passes through Kashmir. How do I say it? You got it?
You have said it.
Okay, so the road to peace in Balochistan passes through Kashmir. You cannot have and I'm not saying that the Indian state is doing anything. All I'm saying is that you cannot have death in Kashmir and peace So I think we should, both of us, you and I and other people, and just have friendly relations. आप आए हमारे घर, हम आए आपके घर, बस. That's it. That should be there.
Okay, so obviously, this blame game is still there, and for that matter, obviously, there should be talks and direct talks that are going to bear the result. One last final question, Major Saab, which I want to ask you. That is about this recent incident in Gurdwara in Afghanistan, where I was reading that some of the Indian press, particularly I think the Suhasini Hadar and the others in the Hindu, they were mentioning that the Indian deep state may put off plan to for its embassy in Kabul, or some sort of diplomatic arrangement which India was about to start with the Taliban. So do you think, and many were calling that as if Pakistan was involved in all that, don't you think this will be a new blame game? Because one of the conditions which India has put in front of the Taliban was that the Afghan soil will not be used against India. Earlier, the Pakistan was saying to the Ashraf Ghani government that the Afghan soil will not be used against Pakistan. Now, India is putting the same condition in front of the Taliban that the Afghan soil will not be used against India. So this attack on the Gurdwara, to which obviously Pakistan castigates, laments any kind of a terrorist activity by any stakeholder, by any non-state actor. So how do you think that is this a new tug of war between India and Pakistan in Afghanistan? Do you foresee that? Or do you see that India will have a fair amount of relations with the Taliban, as the defense minister Mullah Yaqub said that we are going to send our soldiers even for training in India as
well? Cheema sir, there are 2-3 dimensions, and with your permission, I'd like to elaborate. Cheema sir, first of all, I don't think Daesh or Al Qaeda are fully under the control of any intelligence agency, be it ISI, be it CIA, be it XYZ. These people are independent operators. Most of them, even Al Qaeda, while there are many foreign fighters in Afghanistan, the core of even the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is basically Deobandi Pashtun. Largely, it's a Deobandi organization, largely Pashtun organization, both TTP and the Afghan Taliban. Number 3, India might be engaging with the Taliban today because who do you engage with? But the fact of the matter is, Taliban now has a diplomatic face. But the fact of the matter is that their ideology is not very different from Islamic State. Their ideology is not very different from Al Qaeda. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which has been attacking Pakistani soldiers. Now, the TTP is not very different from Al Qaeda or from Islamic State. So I was very surprised when a Pakistani jirga or delegation went and they said, we'll have talks with the TTP. What you need is Zarbe-Azr. You don't need to talk to these guys because, you see, they want Pakistan not to exist. And that is their, I'm talking about the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. So and this is not for me to say what Pakistan should do because it's Pakistan's internal matter, but my sensing is to just finish these people because they understand the language of violence. They don't understand the language of "Ye jirga shirka baithega bachi to." They don't understand all that. These people are animals, right? Now, Cheema sahab, aisa hai ki regarding these Sikhs, the unfortunate killing of Sikhs and all that. India had a this thing called the CAA. You must have heard of the CAA, CANRC. आपने सुना होगा. Now, the CAA was, the Citizenship Amendment Act, and they said that all non-Muslims who are in Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, their citizenship for India would be fast-tracked. It was not that they will be given a citizenship on arrival, like a visa on arrival, but it would be fast-tracked. So, if let's say a Muslim, yes, since it concerns Muslims, I'll say if a Muslim wants to come from these three countries, he would take a certain length of time, but these guys would be given priority, and 2014 was the cutoff date, etc., etc. This is exactly why it was there, because, and now a lot of Muslims in India also protested. They said, why? This is discriminatory. But you see, Pakistan is a Muslim country. Afghanistan is a Muslim country. Bangladesh is a Muslim country, constitutionally Islamic, right? And we assume that it is safe for Muslims because it is a Muslim country. That is in Afghanistan's case, that is not true actually, because Afghans are killing everybody, including Muslims, including non-Muslims. It's not that a blast in Gurdwara has happened. There has been a blast inside a mosque also, and 10 times more number of people have been killed inside mosques than inside Gurdwara. So that is happening in Afghanistan. So the fact of the matter is, I think this is what India needs to do. I have not read Suhasini Haidar's article on the Indian deep state saying that this thing, but I don't think India, Cheema Saab, is anywhere near opening an embassy in Kabul. I don't think in the near future, unless the world together decides. India will not do it. India will keep on helping. Now, this is a strategic foothold inside Afghanistan. What do the Afghans need today? They need help. They need funding. They need finance. They need food. They need medicines. They need infrastructure. India will keep on doing the same thing that they did in the Ashraf Ghani government. The government has changed, and nobody can stop India from doing it because India is not giving weapons. India is not sending its troops. India is just sending a plane to Kabul with grains, with medicines. And who can dispute that? You can't say that why are you sending medicines to the Afghan people? We're sending medicines to the Afghan people. You can check the medicines. They are medicines only. This is what India is doing, but that buys India a lot of this thing, And one thing I'm very surprised, Cheema Saab, on your show, I would like to ask you a question, if with your permission I can.
Why not?
Cheema Saab, I want to know, China has a border with Afghanistan through the Wakhan corridor. Why is China not doing anything in Afghanistan? Why is China not sending massive amounts of food grain, massive amounts of medicine? Why is China not doing it? China should also do it. It's a neighboring country. Afghanistan and China share a border.
Well, I think this is a very important question. Immediately, when India is trying to go with the humanitarian motivation in Afghanistan, naturally, the Chinese and Pakistanis don't believe this. The China and Pakistan would believe that Indian presence in Afghanistan is for a geopolitical competition. This is so simple. There is no humanitarian motivation. There is no free lunch in the world. The Chinese understand, the Pakistanis understand for that one thing. What you are saying, but referring, the Chinese are not putting there. I think the Chinese are not in a position even to understand the Taliban. This is my assessment. I may be wrong. One thing. The Chinese main goal in Afghanistan is to stop any kind of a non-state actor to have any kind of ideological or physical presence in Xinjiang. So for that matter, whatever the engagement the Chinese did with the Pakistanis or with the Afghan Taliban or with the previous Ashraf Ghani government, that was purely to stop, not to let the Islamists come in Xinjiang. So much of the people who were in Afghanistan, particularly if they are from the Central Asian Islamic movement of Uzbekistan and so many others who are in Afghanistan, or even the Islamic State or Al-Qaeda or the TTP or the different factions which were emerging. So Chinese were trying to desist and stop that. Let's not let them not come inside China, because that is the Chinese soft valley. They were dealing them. They had these transformation centers in China already to make those Muslims more Chinese, or to take away the actual spirit of Islam out of them and to make them the Chinese Muslim, not just the real Arab Muslim or a Pakistani Muslim or that matter. So I think they're just engaged in that matter. One thing. The second, I think they believe that there is no connection. The Afghanistan doesn't connect them with the Central Asia. Afghanistan doesn't connect them with any other important country. So for that matter, for the Chinese, Afghanistan is not an important country. And above all, I think all the countries have their time and tested. They have proven their skills, be it the Soviets and now the Americans, the West led by America. They have just shown their colors, how things have come out, and they don't have. And above all, there is no, in my understanding, the question answer got a little lengthier. In my understanding, the Chinese believe that there is no center of power in Afghanistan at the moment. So whom to engage with? And I think that doing business in Afghanistan is very costly. If you have to pay to the warlords in one province, and the other province you have to pay to Al Qaeda, the other province you have to pay to the Islamic State, and then you have to go in the north and you have to pay to the Northern Alliance or to others. So I think they don't get set into any kind of that thing. But although Pakistan has sensitized the Chinese that there are some Baloch militants who are hiding inside Afghanistan, and the Taliban are giving some kind of a support to them. But I think the Chinese want to keep it, or want to see this all from that lens, that the Chinese interests are not damaged or compromised, whoever comes in Afghanistan, and it doesn't connect China anywhere, I think, in the world. This is my understanding, and all that connection what the Chinese need, they're using it from the CPAC. So going through either Karachi or Gwadar to the Arabian Sea, and then to the other markets. This is my humble submission for this question.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much, Cheema sab, for the lovely answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mesab, for giving us a wonderful insight for so many questions which we have had for you, and hopefully we will continue this series. So
Absolutely.
have your perspective on what's going on in the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheema sab. Thank you.